Supposed to have an ad blocker on, bro.
Have you ever thought about carrying a handgun for your family's safety? In today's world,
Get that
unpredictability
blower.
seems
Get the fuck out of my face, Stacy. All right, I'm back, and all right, I'm back, and I was trying to talk about how Broke Baby was one of my favorite people from Florida underground scene. Like he was around when No Jumper was popping. He ended up getting a song played when they were doing like the stream music reviews, and he made a song. It was like I rolled and I rock, I rolled and I rock instead of rock and roll. And niggas were like, "What the fuck is that?" And then this man was so high, he was just saying shit. Turns out he actually said what he was doing. He was rolling and rocking and shit. He was high as fuck. So yeah, but yeah, broke baby. He was just like what like a sweetheart dude, but like also like just a Dre, you know. It was just like a person that like is familiar. I don't know how to say it. It just
So,
reminds
moving
me
our
of
way through the cinematic
somebody.
universe of Florida, after we reach the last person that I spoke of in my previous video, it's only natural to mention Broke Baby next. A rapper that many can't even fathom made it so far into the game, as they see him as nothing but a burnout and a junkie. But it would seem Baby is a lot smarter than some give him credit for, because he
He
managed
really
to always
is.
put himself in the right place at the right time. But is that a skill, is it just dumb luck, or something else
You know,
entirely? Well, let's find out when we look into the story of Broke Baby. Fernando Estarda, I think it's Estarda, was born sometime during 1999 in Cuba, before his family immigrated to America when he was at the age of 5. The whole family ended up hopping on a raft and heading to Miami, Florida to set up a new life, and that's where Broke Baby actually attended school as well. But just like many other rappers from Florida, he wasn't the best in school. He would often ditch class to smoke weed, and when he was actually in class, well, he was high off
it was
weed,
that
so he
era.
couldn't pay that much attention. And honestly, it could have been even a little bit more than weed at the time, but this eventually led him to fully drop out of school in his freshman year. One good thing that happened during his time in school is that he managed to meet his producer, known as Cash Black, who would later help him in music once he started making it. But for the next couple years, Broke Baby wouldn't do much of anything. He'd play Fortnite, smoke weed, get farther into pills and other types of drugs, but he wasn't really doing anything productive. Until eventually his family convinced him to get a job in construction so he could get on his own feet and start living on his own, making his own money. But he would show up every day hungover and just couldn't stand the work. And after only 7 months of working in that profession, he realized that he couldn't stand it anymore, and that's not what he wanted to do with his entire life. So he quit his job and headed down to a house party, and this is where he heard the track Beautiful Girls All Over the World by Bruno Mars, and he seen all the girls getting turned up to it and realized that he wanted to be a rapper too. And of course, even though he would
No,
probably never admit it, he was probably seeing
that's lit as fuck. Because Bruno Mars is one of my inspirations too. But what was that his first time hearing it? Beautiful girls all over the world. Man, he heard that. It was like, okay, I'm ready to take over the world.
a lot of the other rappers pop off in the area like Lil Pump, Smoke Perp, XXXTentacion, and Members Only, so he wanted to copy that same style and become a rapper himself. So he headed over to his neighbor's house who actually produced beats, and oftentimes he would freestyle over the beats but not actually record the vocals. Because at first Baby had a lot of anxiety and he was afraid that he wasn't going to be able to make a good song or that he would put out pure trash, but after meeting Lil Ominous for the first time, everything changed. He pulled up at the studio that Baby would often hang out at.
Well, ominous. He needs a whole video too, because like he's Lil Pump's cousin, like not full cousin, like friend cousin, and he put Lil Pump on, gave him every single tool, pretty much. And Lil Pump isn't a dumb person. Like people think he is, but y'all are the dumb ones because everybody's getting played by him acting dumb. Like, but even Lil Ominous, because yeah, but Lil Ominous, really, robbing stuff. A little ominous. He I don't know. There's a lot to Florida that people don't know about. And the Florida rap scene is like a really beautiful one, I think. It's an interesting one, I'll say. Not beautiful, interesting. Because it spans so many different types of sounds and stuff. And this guy, Lil Onyx, he has his hand in a lot. I'm not saying he originated shit. I'm saying that he's forwarding stuff. That's a thing that needs to be done in music, not just originality, but full on forwarding things and creating your own with stuff that's already there. It's like is literally moving on tradition and bringing it to youth and shit. And that's what Lil Homies has done crazily. I'll give you your fucking flowers, man.
And let
Nobody
out a
does.
couple
I'll do.
tracks. And after Baby heard him
I'll
rap for the
do.
first time, he knew that's exactly what he wanted to do. But he was still a little bit too shy and anxious to actually talk to Ominous, but luckily he had some Xanax on him that his doctor actually prescribed to him, so he took a little bit higher of a dose that day so he wouldn't have any anxiety, and the two ended up forming a connection. And this connection through Ominous would eventually get him connected to Skater Montez, who would later become his manager. So now that Baby realized that he wanted to
Skater
do music
Montez
full
too.
time, what did he do first? Did he go and record a track, try to find the perfect beat, try to buy a feature? No, he decided to go right to the tattoo parlor and tattoo his entire face. Yeah, it seems like he had a little bit backwards here because he would tattoo his face first, then make an Instagram account, and then finally record his first song. And this track was Punk Baby, which started to blow up in the local Florida scene for having kind of an offbeat flow where he was a little bit ahead of the beat.
Yeah, bitch, I'm on my
Supposed to have an ad blocker on, bro.
Have you ever thought about carrying a handgun for your family's safety? In today's world,
Get that
unpredictability
blower.
seems
Get the fuck out of my face, Stacy.
Which at the time was actually kind of unique because Blueface wasn't out at the time, or at least he wasn't famous enough for everybody to get completely sick of that style. So he actually had something going for him on his very first song. But all of this was happening way too fast for
Video.
Baby. He didn't know how to manage his own career, he didn't know how to do music videos, he really didn't know how to do anything. He had just recorded one song on GarageBand and now he was basically blowing up in the underground. So he decided to reach out to Montez through Twitter to become his full-on manager. And at the time, Montez had been managing another artist, but eventually they ended up falling out. So it was perfect timing for
Shout
both
out
of
Lil
them to get
Song.
a new fresh start in the rap game. Brokebaby being completely new to everything, and Montez already having some experience with another artist, but was trying to get on with somebody who
Shout
was
out
a
Lil
little
Song.
bit more stable. And the first thing they did once they connected was get to work making the first music video for his track Punk Baby to drop on the 777 channel, which was already kind of popping at the time in the underground scene for vlogging with other rappers and upcomers. This video would
Shout out
immediately
Lil
start to
Song.
blow up, and then Montez would put Brokebaby into his vlog series, serving as a perfect partner to Lil Slump. And the two of them even
Shout
had
out
a
Lil Slut.
competition at one point to see who could get the most face tats the quickest.
We're doing a race. We're doing a face tat race. Whoever gets the most. When I run out of skin, I win.
And of course, being around Montez and Ominous, Brokebaby would soon become a short-lived member of 1%. And he even ended up going on a group trip to LA with all of them, but somehow he ended up stranded with no money, no car, his phone completely dead, but somehow he managed to finesse a cab and end up at the On Some Shit store, where he actually met Adam 22 for the first time. And once Adam saw him, he immediately asked him about his face tattoos and even posted him on a Snapchat story saying Brokebaby up next. Are you starting to see what I mean when I say that he's able to meet people at the right place at the right time with little to no effort? Like, first of all, he met Lil Ominous just by hanging out at a random studio, and then he met Adam 22 just by happening to get to the store at the exact time that Adam 22 was there, and then he was able to form a connection with him. And unlike Sleepy Casper, who was completely laughed off the premises and left as a joke, Brokebaby was actually able to get one of his videos on No Jumper not too long after this. He ended up getting a bunch of his friends to donate money to Adam 22's live stream in order to get him to react to Punk Baby, and he actually did it, and when he did, he actually liked the song as well. And from there, Adam would get in contact with Skater Montez to
And on a
repost the
rock.
video on No Jumper, and then after that, he actually got a second music video on the channel as well, for his track No Rubber. So just like that, with only a few months in the rap game, he was able to form a connection with 1%, get in a rap group, get on No Jumper, and he still only had like 1 or 2 songs at the time. And he was even included in the future SoundCloud Rappers of America video that would go on to get 1 million views in the time that it was posted. And at this point, you're probably
Look
thinking,
at
well, he
that.
definitely needs to get a full-on No Jumper interview at this point, but for one reason or another that never ended up happening. I think that's probably because Adam was using using him more as a joke and just kind of a side character and didn't want to seriously invest any money or time into him. But it seems like Brokebaby didn't
I
get the
think he
message
knows how
because
to use
apparently he
junkies
actually
for
thought
like
that
the
Adam
right
22
time.
was going to sign him as a full-on artist to the
He
No
views
Jumper
it as
label that
like
was around at the time, but
only
once
use it
again,
as
that never
derogatory.
happened. And even worse
People,
than that, he would actually end up getting a SoundCloud
dang. I feel like Adam knows how to use people for the right times and right moments. And industry, entertainment industry stuff. It's like people are willing to put themselves in these predicaments, and then he has a camera and and a platform because of us. Like we're the problem along with him and Bro Baby. People like him. People like people like the cast members, bro. I don't even know their fucking names. Like, nigga, everybody after fucking T-Rail 80 and everybody left. It don't matter.
account taken over by one of his
Be
jealous
watching this
exes
shit on
after she
Forum
stole
Shoot.
his laptop, got into the account, and completely deleted all of his tracks, taking away all the effort that he had put in the last couple months. And immediately after that, he'd ruin his standing in 1% by going after Oak Trapstar, saying that he actually stole his lyrics. And once again, I gotta say, this is completely ridiculous.
Before he says it's completely ridiculous, RIPO's rap star. And he was a very influenced person. RIPO trap star.
I feel like all these guys were just doing basic freestyles with no real distinct lyrics besides like, I'm popping a Zan, yeah, I'm popping a Molly, okay. And after they saw Oak Trapstar get into a little bit of shit for the whole piped up comethazine drama, they decided to jump on that and try to accuse him of the same thing to destroy his standing, but also get a little bit more clout on their name. Brokebaby would go on Instagram and immediately say that Oak Trapstar was a fake friend, leading Ominous to jump in and say that Brokebaby's music is poo-poo, and then Brokebaby would say, well, that's why you're always trying to wipe me. And after that, they didn't really beef too much more on Instagram, but that connection was permanently severed. Supposedly, there was supposed to be a meeting after that point to try to get the group back together and squash all the tension, but it never ended up happening. After that, Baby would drop one more track called Stupid, which would get pretty good numbers on SoundCloud, but after that, it seems like all his future tracks would only get 1,000, 2,000, and he was basically falling off completely by the end of 2018. He did manage to get one final interview on Mars Files where he would explain the situation a little bit further and tell everybody that he was now running with a new group called Loser Life that included Kill TJ, and after that interview, he completely faded out of the public eye for years to come. And one thing I want to mention is that even though he does seem like he's kind of high in this interview, he seems very healthy, he's kind of well spoken, he doesn't seem like he's that strung out. Sure, he's a little slow, but compared to a lot of these crackheads in the underground scene, he seems like he's actually pretty well put together. But I really want you to remember this interview when I talk about the next part, because I think you're going to notice the difference. He would end up dropping one more
Oh,
EP in 2019, and then dropped a couple more tracks with his
I
friend
remember the
Sway, but it
fire.
turns out that Sway actually ended up passing away sometime during 2021, and after that, Brokebaby completely lost all passion and interest in making music. He stopped appearing in the Montez vlogs, it seems like he had a falling out with a little slump at one point, and he never worked with 1% again after 2018. And for the next couple years, the world completely forgot about Brokebaby, until all of a sudden in 2022, he appeared in a documentary series called Rap's New Frontline, where he was interviewed about his experience in the game. And it's really sad to see, but it seems like he's just so strung out that he can't even hold a
Next
conversation.
video.
I'm not really sure how much of this I can actually show because it's an official documentary that's on Amazon Prime, but hopefully I can show you just this little bit to see just how far he's fallen.
Making the most out of the moment. I mean, it took my best friend's life. I
Let me
was
try to
popping
find it.
pills, but like he was into like the heavy shit.
Hi, my name is Rachel, and I would like to give you a few reasons why you should consider dating a young Asian lady.
I thought about it.
It seems like the interview was a complete bust. He ended up saying he was sober when he clearly wasn't, and the reporter left without a whole lot of information from him. But on the drive back, he actually gave him another call and said, please come back. I was actually high on Xanax, but I'm sober now. And this is where he actually told the story about his best friend passing away from a drug overdose and how he lost passion for music after that, while at the same time actually going outside to buy coke from a girl and trying to convince the reporter he was only getting his phone charger, not realizing that his mic was still on and they had picked up the entire conversation.
Thank you. This looks fire.
Let me know if you like it because it's pure. It's like fire as fuck.
Alright, I'll
And
let you
want
know.
more, just get my number. I'm the one selling the white.
Finally. Everything okay? Yeah, I've been needing this for a minute.
It's just really sad because he ends up lying to the reporter over and over again.
I've
You
been
can see his
needing this
parents in
for
the
a minute.
documentary. They seem like really nice people who just want their son to do well. You see pictures of him and his girlfriend together, and it seems like he has an alright life. But when looking at him, you can see that he's lost half his body weight. He looks tired, sick, and just done with life. And unfortunately, before the documentary ever even got to be posted, he ended up passing away. In April of 2023, 3 days before the documentary even got a chance to drop and hopefully bring him back to prominence, he ended up passing away from a drug overdose, and that ended the story of Brokebaby. Once again, I just have to say this is really sad to see. I know a lot of people don't have empathy or sympathy for these guys who do a
Bro,
lot of
what the
drugs and
fuck?
say they chose their own path, but I feel like just like hella sketchy, he was promised the rapper lifestyle, he really wanted to be part of it, and life just got in the way. Unfortunately, a lot of these rappers that we look up to aren't really exactly what we think they are. People end up scamming and screwing each other. They're offered that perfect lifestyle of money, fast cars, riches, you can do drugs and hang out with girls every day of your life, but what you don't see is what happens to these guys after the fame all runs out. I mean, let's admit it, we all used to laugh and joke about all the weirdo characters that would show up at the No Jumper store, saying it was funny that they tattooed their face, their music was junk, and that they were never going to make it. But what we never thought about is what happens to these guys after it's all over. What happens after the fame is done? They're not just characters, they're real people. And unfortunately, this lifestyle sometimes brings in real life consequences. But anyways, I'm not trying to sound like a downer, that I'm trying to ruin anybody's dreams of being a rapper. I'm just saying if you're going to rap and you want this lifestyle, don't fully put all of yourself into it to the point that you have no other exit strategy. And more than anything, make sure that you're around the right people. Keep your friends close. Make sure your friends are healthy. If your friends are toxic over and over and over again and there's just no way you can help them, eventually you do have to cut that cord. Your generosity can only go so far. And at the end of the day, just make sure the music comes first. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give it a like. Subscribe too, because I'm really trying to make it to 10,000 subscribers. I have an Instagram page if you want to hit me up there, a Discord server as well. And more than anything, I just appreciate you all for being here. It just means a lot to me that there's so many people that care to watch my videos and really want to hear what I have to say. And even though there's a lot of bad people in the rap game, it goes to show that there's just as many good people as well. So, rest in peace, Brokebaby. And yeah, that's all I got to say. Bye.
I didn't know that.
My name is Ashley Puyol.
Bitch.
I am the founder of a small
Okay, I'm cutting it.
company named
Bye, y'all.
Rap. I design my own wrapping papers. I started.
Tom MacDonald is one of the most interesting weirdos to ever step into the rap game. Endlessly controversial, extremely polarizing, and undoubtedly corny. Now before you turn this video off because you think it's just going to be a teardown of Tom MacDonald from a very angry, liberal, soy boy, well, let me tell you, that's not what this is going to be. I'm Canadian just like Tom MacDonald, and I also live in the Maritimes, which is where his prime fan base mostly comes from, so I know quite a bit about him. I'm pretty caught up on the lore, and overall, I don't take him too seriously, so I'm not just going to tear him down and call him a goofball and evil and blah blah blah.
You guys are just a bunch of triggered SJWs.
I'm just very drawn to this strange man's antics in the same way that I'm drawn to somebody like Joker 305, who's actually the exact same age as Tom, so that really shows you a life choice right there. So of course, I have to look into the story of Tom MacDonald and just really hope that none of his country bumpkin fans get me whacked out here, because it could really happen. I'm really in these streets, you gotta understand. So anyways, let's get into it. The story of Tom MacDonald. Important figures that you need to cover: Nova Rockefeller and of course Tom himself, and these two come together to create the character known as Tom MacDonald. First we'll look at Tom. He was born September 21st, 1988 in Mission, British Columbia, Canada. A little